of times when we jump on the microphone and record a podcast, we are recording a success story. We're sharing with the audience something that worked. And this is an instance where things did not pan out as we expected. And I think we came out on the other side of it, better businessmen. But man, in the thick of it, it was not a pleasant experience. So Ken, can you set the scene for the
Yeah.
listeners? What happened? How did we get sued?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to kind of piggyback on what you said, David, like this was a very this happened, just kind of setting the stage. This happened kind of like Q4. So it's already a stressful time. We've got a lot going on with businesses. And then here, so, all of a sudden we're getting sued. And so it was very emotionally draining. It was taxing on the business, and it was not a good situation. We had a service provider that we had a relationship with. We were working with them for probably over 2 years. And they were providing a great service. This was their main core service. Like I said, we'd used them for a long time. We trusted them. We used them for multiple businesses, and everything was going great. And then, we've even met this person in Vegas and had a drink, right? Right. Like high fiving, hey, everything's great. You're doing awesome. And then service provider, and also we're not going to disclose who the service provider was, protect his business and his livelihood. We're just sharing our experience. And so, service provider was like, hey, I've got this new service, and it's warehousing. This was right around the thick of the time when Amazon came out with their inventory restriction. And so, we're limiting amount of stuff you can send in. So we're like, okay, we have another small warehouse, but we have several large shipments getting ready for Q4. We're like, where we're going to go with this. And so we're like, well, this is kind of a good fit right now. This service provider is offering a new service. It's kind of what we need. And he's like, yeah, by the way, you guys are kind of like our first beta clients. Is that okay? We're like, yeah, that's fine. Because we had a positive experience with them in the past on their other services that they provided. And so this kind of like sets the stage of where we initiate an agreement. We kind of go over it and we get onboarded. And then from there, everything went south.
Let's go to the day that we got served.
Yeah, sure. Just to also back it up a little bit. So this happened over a 6 to 9 month period before it came to a head, before it was like shit's hitting the fan. And so, and during that 6 to 9 month period, we had multiple stockouts in multiple businesses. And so this was like very, very high on our list of things to resolve. And so, we had inventory in this warehouse, and then WFS and FBA were out of stock. We're losing money. And so we were super pissed at this point of this is really impacting the business. And so that's when we got to the point of, hey, we got to deal with this. Okay, so setting the stage. So I I knew ahead of time because David had shared with me a story the day before. I was like, oh man, like something is going to happen, and something is not good. I'm getting served papers. And so I knew that was going to happen. And so I have a Ring doorbell. And so my office is in another part of the house. And so I was just like waiting. I was like watching the Ring doorbell and, getting packages all day long, whatever. I look at it. And I see somebody standing out there with a manila envelope. And I'm like, I'm not answering the door at all. And didn't answer the door. And then what I failed to do was I failed to share this with my family. And so someone in my family goes to the door, opens it up, and I'm like, well, they're not going to be able to give this person the paperwork because it's not me. And what they did was they said, do you know this person? And my family member was like, yeah, I do. It's so and so. And they're like, give this to them. And so they had served it through someone else, which I thought was like really weird. And this person then felt really bad, like, oh crap, like, should I have done this or should I have not? And so it was just a very stressful situation. And something that I don't want to happen again. Like, right. It wasn't my family member's issue that we had a crappy experience in a business, and then they're kind of somehow involved in that. And so it was an unpleasant experience, something that I don't like personally, something that I don't want to happen again, but it is part of the space we're in. And so that was kind of my thing. And then the kicker was the initial set of paperwork wasn't even legal. It wasn't even valid because this other attorney didn't even I didn't. I don't think. What was it? They didn't pay like the court fee or something, and so the paperwork was invalid.
So anyway, I'll share with you my experience on getting served. So unlike you, my office is right next to my front door. And so when someone knocks on the door, I can go peek out my blinds and usually see like exactly who it is. Like when I peek out my blinds, we're literally standing like 4 feet apart. The doorbell rung. And if you sell on Amazon and you get returns to your house, you know that you get UPS shipments literally every day. And so when the doorbell rang, I thought, well, it's just the UPS guy. I'm not going to bother. And then the doorbell kept ringing. And I'm like, oh no, this is it. So I went and peeked out the window. And to this day, I don't know if we made eye contact, but I think she heard something and looked over my way. And I ducked and got out of the way and was hiding.
Cover.
I didn't know what to do, but I decided, well, I'm not going to answer the door and we'll just see what happens. Well, that person sat in my driveway for an hour. I mean, they must get paid when they serve, or this is one dedicated civil servant. My wife calls me and is like, hey, I'm picking up the kids from school. I'm on my way home. And I'm like, oh no, we're going to get busted. And so I had to decide, do I have my wife and kids join this Operation Hide or just face the music? And I faced the music. She pulled up the driveway. I just made a beeline out to the car. I got served and went in and put the papers on my desk and dealt with it the next day. So, yeah, that was honestly a day I'll never forget. But it's just all part of the experience.